I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever?
One life,
forever,
one love,
and ever.
one soul.
Today's October 7th, 2019. I'm BrentNally, and we are here at RAADFest. It has just ended. We're in the Westgate Hotel, and I'm here with Andrés Grases. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Brent. So nice to be here with you. And by the way, you pronounce my name in English very well. I'm from Venezuela, so my name in Spanish is like Andrés Grases. And in English, it's just as Brent said, Andrés Grases. So that's very nice. So very happy to be here with you, Brent. I've seen your videos, your YouTube channel. I've seen your interviews with people like, the biggest guys in the longevity field, like Aubrey de Grey, Bill Falloon, Bill Andrews, of course, Liz Parrish.
Yeah, definitely. And so that leads me into very excited that you recently took on the role as the Global Outreach Director, the Director of Global Outreach at BioViva. This is very exciting, and congratulations.
Thank you, Brent, and it's really very exciting for me as well. So, well, I'll tell you a little bit of my story, and because this is really like I would say it may sound a bit romantic, but it's really like a dream come true. I mean, really, it's amazing. So, actually, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Right.
I'm not a biologist or geneticist and things like that, but for one reason that I will explain in a little bit later, I've been doing this for 2 years, reading a lot about genetics and longevity and rejuvenation and things like that. So the fact is that I'm a mechanical engineer. I also got an MBA degree in Boston University. That was back in 1990. And I worked for the oil industry in Venezuela for almost 17 years. But then things in Venezuela are going pretty bad, and I moved to Spain in year 2000. And I couldn't continued my career in the oil industry, because when I applied to companies like Repsol or Cepsa, which are the biggest oil companies in Spain, they said that my career had been more like a managerial career, not a technical career, and that the positions that I could, and that was true, by the way, that was really true. So they didn't hire this type of profile in their companies. These are people who are made within the company, doing their careers in the company. So I couldn't continue my career there. So in Spain, well, I've done several things. There. As I couldn't work for the oil industry, then I started to, I lived doing day trading in the stock market for about 2 or 3 years. Yes.
Now the Spanish stock market?
Or? No, in the American stock market, of course.
But from Spain, you were living
from Spain. Yes.
So did you have to live crazy hours to be awake during the U.S. market?
Well, it wasn't that bad, because the time for us in Spain is not that bad to do trading in the U.S.
Okay.
So, but that was my first experience, like starting all over again, learning a new field.
Right.
And one thing that did help me a lot is that you can learn yourself just searching in internet. There is so much information there that if you really put attention and really, are able to really recognize what things are good in your job, you can do many things and learn on yourself just by spending a lot of time doing your job as learner.
So you're a lifelong learner is basically what you're saying.
Yes,
right?
Yes. Because after day trading, my wife didn't like that very much, by the way.
Yeah.
She was like, "Well, Andreas, when are you going to start working?"
Right.
Like you did in the past, with an office and with a boss and things like that. But
little does she know that some of the wealthiest people on the planet are like hedge fund managers who do that for a profession.
Yeah, well, perhaps
it's not working.
Perhaps not doing day trading, but yes, investing long term and things like that.
They have employees do the day trading for them, basically, as a long term hedge fund
manager. Now with
manager.
artificial intelligence and that sort of things, that have changed a lot. But I've been apart from that world for some time now.
Right.
Okay, well, but then after that, I worked for the real estate market, but particularly in development of new promotions, I mean big buildings and things like that, and also reclassifying the soil to construct new residences in soils that were not allowed to construct land, I would say, instead of soil. You know, English is not my first language. I'm doing my best here. Okay.
I can't speak any other languages, so I'm just impressed that you could speak another language.
Well,
honestly.
I learned English when I went to Boston to do my MBA, and then since then, you know, I think English is so important that you know, I'm doing it. Okay. After that, then I went into because there was a big crisis in 2009, you know, in the whole real estate market all around the world. In Spanish was particularly strong because, you know, in Spain we were building like more than in France, England, Germany, Italy together. That was crazy. There was really, you know, a boom, absolutely out of control.
I was in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time, just starting my career. I graduated college in 2007. It's kind of like, welcome to the real world. The whole economy sucks. And I saw buildings in the San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley that just stayed a quarter built, a halfway built, 3/4 built for about 3 or 4 years until the economy recovered around 2012 or so. And finally those buildings were finished. It's pretty crazy.
In Madrid, in Spain, but in Madrid, for example, in the outskirts, you can still see whole urbanizations with, let's say, 3,000 houses built, like nobody there. I mean, they are just alone.
Yeah.
During night, no lights.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
They're still there. Okay. Well, then after that, I again, you know, started all over again, and started solar energy, solar photovoltaic energy, and then, you know, I had to study the whole thing again, searching in the web, attending courses, and in 1 year or so, I was already an advisor for big companies that were investing in Spain in the photovoltaic solar energy sector. But then again, after 2 or 3 years, you know, same thing. It was a bubble.
Yeah.
Too much investments in that field.
Solyndra was right by the tech startup I was at in Fremont, California. Do you remember Solyndra?
Yes, Solyndra for sure. Yes.
Literally, their headquarters was right down the street from a startup I was at called 3PAR in 2010. We got acquired by HP. So I saw the whole Solyndra building being built for a while, and then I saw it just implode.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
Well, now in Spain, they're starting again to do some things, but not big fields of photovoltaic production, but just, you know, in houses, they put little things on the roof, and they're producing. This is allowed again because they, by law, prohibited to build these big fields of solar photovoltaic energy. That was awful. Okay, well, the point is that then in the recent years, about 2 or 3 years ago, you know Jose Cordeiro?
Yes, yeah, please. So he's the one who kind of got you into the longevity movement, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
Tell that story. I'd love to hear that.
Yes, you know. Jose Cordeiro, who is a well-known transhumanist, futurist, and life extensionist.
Speaker here at RAADFest, gave another incredible speech.
Yes, he speaks at RAADFest, and he does that in many other conferences all around the world.
Viva la revolución!
Viva la revolución!
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so I actually, you know what? I entered the university in Venezuela, in Caracas, year 1979 to study mechanical engineering together with Jose Cordeiro.
And is that where you met him?
Yes.
Wow, so you guys go way back.
Yes.
That's 40 years from now.
We started the first year together, and then he received a scholarship, and he moved to, he finished his studies in MIT, and then he continued his career in many other universities around the world, in Japan, in France. But the fact is that after that first year, I lost contact with him completely.
There was no social media back then. It was harder to stay in touch, right?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have made a big difference if social media was already in place by that time, but it was not the case.
Yeah, you'd have to reach somebody on the phone or write to them. That's about it.
Actually, at that time, I programmed with Fortran language. And we used these cards with little holes in the cards and put that in a huge computers.
Interesting. So
Yes,
you've
yes.
been into innovative technologies for a long time, on the forefront of them.
Yeah, I love it. Yes. So solar photovoltaic also was a very innovative thing when I started. And, you know,
Right.
That's right.
So now you're on the forefront of a very innovative and incredible technology, gene therapy. I want to give you an opportunity to finish your story if you weren't finished, but would love to hear about what you're doing now with the gene.
Well, just to make it
Yeah.
so, then I didn't see Jose Cordeiro for 30 years, as you said.
Oh, my,
But-
30 years. Wow.
Yeah, something like that. But then he went to Madrid and did a talk. I met him again. That was very nice. And his talk was about the future of the future and the path to technological singularity. For me, that was a completely new field. But I really was amazed with what he said. I really love it. And I thought, oh my God, this can be my new field of knowledge. And as I was used to change things, and this is something that in my view will last for many, many years, because we are not there yet. And this is something that will happen. So that was great for me. And then in transhumanism, they have this sort of like, they talk about super intelligence, super longevity, and super happiness. Because transhumanism is like using, science and technology to improve human condition.
Right.
And then from all these three big areas, super longevity, super intelligence, and super happiness, I decided to focus my interest in super longevity. It was really good for me. I mean, I thought, oh, this is great. I had no idea about it before. I'm talking about March of 2017.
Okay.
So 2 years, 2 years and a half now.
2.5 now, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so he was in Madrid. We spent time together. That was great. And then he invited me to RAADFest 2017.
Awesome.
Oh, when he did that, I was like, oh, I need to I need to research about this whole thing.
Learn as fast as possible,
Learn
right?
as fast as possible, because I want to go there and have some useful conversation with people there and to understand what the speakers are talking about. So I started, to search in the web and to make a lot of folders in my web browser and put things there, links, and organizing everything as better as I could. And I watched videos of Aubrey de Grey, Bill Falloon, Liz Parrish, all of them. And in particular, I have to say that the ones from Liz Parrish, I mean, that impressed me a lot, because I thought, that woman had been so courageous in doing what she did on herself.
Yes.
That it really impressed me. I mean, so when I went to RAADFest, that was in August 2017, I saw all these big speakers, and when I saw Liz Parrish face to face, I was like, wow, she's the woman who did, the whole thing about the dual gene therapy, when no one, I mean, she's patient zero.
She's
actually.
patient zero.
She's patient zero. But she's not the only one anymore. I have to say that. I will explain that when we talk right now about BioViva.
Keep watching. We're going to get to a lot of those details there.
She's still patient zero, and she always be patient zero.
Right.
But she's not the only one anymore. But the point is that, yes, I was fairly impressed. Actually, I had a conversation with her, as the one we are doing now. It's on my YouTube channel.
So please subscribe to Andres' YouTube. There's going to be a link in the description below. Also subscribe or follow him on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. He's always posting incredible information, the forefront of gene therapy. So definitely subscribe and follow. Links in below.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah.
That's very nice from you. Yes, please follow me.
Well, I'm not just saying, I mean it. Like, do
Follow
it.
me,
You know, this is how you learn. Follow the thought leaders in this space.
Yeah. And also, I have to tell you something. And I had so many links in my web browser that I decided to share that with the whole world. So I talked to some friends of mine who are very good at WordPress, and I told them, hey, can you take all my links with all the folders and all the things and put that in a website? And they did it. I mean, the website is called transhumanplus.com, and it's full of information about emerging technologies, you know, nanotechnology, of course, gene therapy, well, everything about really new technology, but the emphasis, the focus is on life extension, radical life extension, rejuvenation, gene therapies.
Increasing our health spans too. That's a big thing that people who are new to this don't always, like, oh, I don't want to live much longer and being old. It's like, we're going to increase your health span.
Sure, sure. And actually, we're going to rejuvenate our bodies, because otherwise we cannot increase our lifespans that much.
Right. You increase the health span, you have a greater probability of increasing your lifespan.
Actually, you know what, Brent? And I want to make sure, I want to make clear this. People who think that we can reach, let's say, 2,000 years old, and they say, oh, no, that's awful. You know, I don't want to be so old for so long, you know, because they imagine that, you know, we are 80 years old and then we continue like that until 200 years old. That's simply impossible. That's impossible. So to really get there, we need to rejuvenate our bodies, our tissues, our organs, our cells.
Every single cell of the body.
Yeah, every single cell of the body. I mean, there's no way we can go from 80 years old to 200 years old being the same very old person, because you know, being old is the major risk factor to get all the illnesses that killed us.
Right, being biologically old, but not necessarily chronologically old.
Oh, of course. Chronologically speaking, we want you to be very old.
Yeah, because you know that brings wisdom,
I took
experience.
these words from Liz Parrish. If
Yes.
you're hearing me, Liz, you know, you said that, and I like it. So we want you to be as old as possible, but feel young and being young.
Right.
Okay, so that's the point. Well, the fact is that after I went to that RAADFest in 2017, I mean, that changed my life. You've seen the organizers of the RAADFest that they say to the public, you know, to all the attendants, this may be a life-changing event. And in my case, it really was. I mean, that completely changed what I was doing. I started to really get a lot more research on the whole thing around longevity. And, well, I've been learning, you know, I'm not a biologist, but I know a lot now, you know, with how the DNA works, how the proteins are built, and all the things. And I love it. So I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. So now, regarding my recent appointment in BioViva.
Yes,
said,
please share some details about this role and what you hope to accomplish.
Yeah, that's great. That was about just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So
it's very recent news. I saw it on LinkedIn. I'm not just speaking to the camera and telling people. I follow you on LinkedIn primarily, and I saw that, and I was very excited to see that.
Sure. Well, the point is that I've been in contact with Liz Parrish since we met in 2017. And we share information. I send her links, you know, when I find something really important about gene therapies or rejuvenation and things like that. I sent her privately links just for her to, you know, to look at them. Many times she already had them, you know, but yeah.
She's on top of it, so that's not surprising.
You cannot imagine. I mean, it's amazing. But yes, we've been in touch. We're doing things together. And recently, 2 or 3 weeks ago, she appointed me as you said, Director of Global Outreach. So what's my mission? Well, first, let's talk a little bit about BioViva, okay?
Yeah.
Well, BioViva was founded by Liz Parrish. That was back in, I think, 2015.
Correct, yes.
Before that, she ran a Biotrove. It was like a podcast when she talked a lot about this kind of things, biology, gene therapies, and things like that. But the point is that she then founded BioViva. And as you know, and now people know, but it wasn't known by the entire world until just recently, Liz Parrish took a dual gene therapy on her own. It was her own decision after, of course, she had read a lot about things that scientists were doing with small animals.
Right.
Okay, so the point is that aging is not anymore considered by scientists. I'm talking about hard science. I mean, I'm not talking about science fiction.
Right.
I'm talking about hard science. Aging is something malleable. I mean, it's not like we born, or animals born, and then we live our lives, and then we get old, and when we die. Okay, that's the way it goes. But you can intervene on that. And then there are scientists, and it's a coincidence that one of the two most famous ones, or more, most well-recognized ones, that have achieved to extend lifespan, both health span and lifespan of animals, model animals, are Spanish. I mean, I'm from Spain. Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes.
That's interesting.
They are Doctora María Blasco.
Oh, of course. I did know that. And I know that she's a Spanish.
Yeah, she's a Spanish.
But I wasn't thinking of it.
Actually, now she's the director of the Centro Nacional de Investigaciones Oncológicas in Spain. She's an expert in cancer worldwide.
She's been around for at least 3 decades.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she runs the biggest research center on cancer in Spain. And a couple of 3 years ago, she experimented with mice. She increased lifespan of mice in about 40 and 50%. And that's like having humans, if we were like mice, having humans living up to 140, 150 years, healthy. That's what she has, achieved so far with small animals. And then the other big scientist is Juan Carlos Ispizua. He's also from Spain, and he works now in La Jolla, in California.
Beautiful, right north of San Diego.
Yes, in a big, research institute on aging, and he's also one of the scientists who have been able to extend lifespan of small animals like worms, mice, and things like that. So, it was great because in Spain, in Madrid, particularly in Madrid, there are a lot of conferences about this whole topic.
I've seen some on YouTube, but I don't speak Spanish, so it's difficult for me. I watched a few videos to prepare for this interview with you to try and find some videos of you on YouTube outside of your channel. And some of them, there's some English, but some of them, there's just Spanish, and I had to turn them off because that didn't do me much good.
Yeah. So yes, actually in Spain there's a big congress which is called Longevity and Care Preservation Summit.
Okay.
It took place in 2017, the first one, and it's twice a year, I think. This year it's going to be another one in May. By the end of the year. And
in 2020, correct?
In 2020, yes, that's correct. Okay. Well, the point is that Madrid is a good place to be if you want to learn about longevity.
Yeah.
There are a lot of conferences there. Okay. Well, then, BioViva. BioViva, it is organized in 3 major units. Okay. One of them is with our major partner, which is Integrated Health System. Integrated Health Systems.
IHS for short.
IHS for short. And actually, the website is, you can put it in the
website of BioViva, IHS. Check the description below. There's going to be so much good information in there. Links to their social media, everything. Yeah.
But then we have BioViva, and also there is another one for Integrated Health System, which is integrated-health-systems.com. Okay? So that's important because then we have these 3 units. One, the one where we practice the therapies, the therapeutics that we are now able to provide to patients.
Patients, right.
And that's the unit that we work with Integrated Health Systems. And basically we're working with 4 genes, which in animal models have shown to really help a lot in rejuvenation, healthness, and extending lifespans.
And Andres, when you say animals, can you share what type of animals? Is it just mice? Is it other animals?
Yeah, basically worms, but the most important ones are mice.
Right, because they're closest to us.
It's the closest to us. They live for about 2.5, 3 years.
Right.
So to complete the whole study about whether or not they increase their lifespans or not, you can do it.
It's quick science.
Yeah, it's quick science because the whole thing in humans, takes a lot more time.
We live a little bit longer.
Yes.
And that is actually why Liz is so incredible, what she did, taking that risk, which looks like it's paying off, and she's got fantastic results so far.
That's awesome.
I apologize.
I'll talk about it a bit later.
We'll get to that. Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching. Yes, so we have this unit, in charge of the therapeutics side of the company, okay, with integrated health systems. And we're working with 4 genes. 2 of them already have been taken by Liz Parrish.
Telomerase
induction.
Inhibitor,
and follistatin inducer, which at the same time, the main role is to inhibit myostatin.
Right.
Because myostatin is the protein that actually weakens all our muscles as we grow older. And that's a big problem. I mean, there's no way you can keep your muscle mass.
We want to stay strong.
No way. You can see bodybuilders, whatever, people who really do a lot of exercise every single day, cyclists or bodybuilders or whatever, and when they get old, all their muscles are just...
Jack LaLanne was going pretty strong until he was, what did he die when? He was like 98? I think he was like 98, and he was still looking good, but he was 98. I mean, he can't replace what he was when he was 70.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he's already lost it a little bit.
You see him now,
yeah.
It's not...
Because the thing with bodybuilding is if you get so big and then you stop, a lot of that muscle immediately turns to fat the older that you get,
But that happens to all people.
Right.
Every single one. I mean,
right.
it's not just for bodybuilders and
right.
sport type of enthusiasts or practitioners, but everyone gets their muscle mass, very weak, and that's where we get a lot of frailty. And when we fell down, our hips got broken and things like that. So
it has a big impact on the quality of life and health at an advanced age once you get into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Definitely. It's very important. So then, follistatin inducer, which is the way it inhibits myostatin.
Right.
And then, I think the king of the crown, how do you say that in English? But the
creme de la creme.
The creme de la creme, but that's in French.
but that's the great thing about English is we steal all the great sayings from all over the world, right?
Okay, right.
The grand poobah.
So it's the telomerase inducer, and that's also. These 2 that I just mentioned, telomerase inducer and follistatin inducer, are the ones that Liz Parrish took back in 2015.
September 15th
September
in Bogotá,
15th,
Colombia.
as a dual gene therapy. And that happened in Colombia, you are right. And actually the doctor who did that is now in charge of Health Integrated System, which is Jason Williams.
Jason Williams. We'll have his information in the description below as well.
Great. So, there are other 2 genes that BioViva is working on. There are also genes that are proved to be very useful in animals models, and these are the klotho gene and the PGC1 alpha gene. These 2 are, have proved very useful in rejuvenating your cells, even in the case of klotho, this is very interesting, even your brain.
Right. Liz Parrish in her recent speeches, including the one she gave 2 days ago here at RAADFest, talks about the effects that the klotho gene therapy has on intelligence. And so this is really exciting because I want to get smarter.
Well, not only that, but also we can perhaps cure, illnesses like Alzheimer's, which are, that's a horrible.
It's a horrible disease, right?
It's
affecting more and more people because we're living longer, but we're not healthier in these advanced ages.
Well, actually, there's been said that we're facing a potential longevity tsunami because people are living, much more years, but they still get old, and they are. As I said before, that's a very big risk factor to get all these illnesses. Cardiovascular diseases, neurodegenerative like Alzheimer's, for example, but some others also that affect your mind, your brain. So your kidney also is very much affected when you grow older.
Yes.
So the whole thing is related to old age. So we need to cure aging.
Yes.
Although there are people that don't like that term.
Right.
But
Aubrey de Grey, for example, when I interviewed him in July at his SINS Research Foundation office, he did not like that term. And it's political, in my opinion, is the reason why people agree or disagree. But all we're trying to say, I won't put words in your mouth, all I'm trying to say is that the data, I'm a data person, right? I've been in Silicon Valley and in sales, selling different technology solutions. The data is very clear. The older you get biologically, the worse and worse chances you have of, well, I want to make sure my language is correct here. The higher probability you have of getting a lot of chronic diseases, the cancer, the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's, and then even type 2 diabetes, other things like osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and I'll stop. But the list goes on. So we want to extend people's lifespan, and the way that we do that is extending their health span.
Yeah, there's no other way to do that.
There's no other way to do it.
There is no other way to do that.
That's
That's key, because people have to, take apart the idea that what we are trying to do is to increase your lifespan until 150 years, 200 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. Aubrey de Grey talks about 1,000 years or more.
And Aubrey is a huge thought leader in this space, and I mean no disrespect to Dr. Aubrey de Grey, so hopefully nobody can shoot it that way. I have to make sure I say, we just disagree on the language in a way right now. He does not believe that aging is a disease or needs to be a disease, and I personally disagree for the reasons that I just laid out.
Well, I'll tell you something, there are more reasons than the ones you mentioned. I mean, it's very important if we can really convince, let's say, for example, Federal Drug Administration or in general the health administrative organisms in the whole world that aging is a disease, because then companies that are working in this field could target that as a disease and offer.
Andres, that's what I basically tried to explain to Dr. Aubrey de Grey in my interview with him, and he disagreed. And you know what? It's, again, to me, it goes back to political. I think he has his. I respect him. I think he has his political beliefs as to why he's saying what he's saying. But I'm on your team with this. I believe strongly. I know how this stuff works, and
actually,
I agree with what
find
you're saying.
investments from investors, that's a key issue. And actually, we have did some good advances in that. I mean, the Health World Organization already is considering aging as a cause of some. I mean, there is a chapter dedicated to aging now in the World Health Organization. And
I believe it was January of 2018 or early 2018 at least, where Harvard University has declared aging a disease.
Wow.
That's huge for a organization, a university like Harvard, to name that.
So this is coming. I mean, now we're in the first steps on that, but that I'm saying, in my view, that would definitely be considered an illness that is curable illness, and that's the major point.
Right, and BioViva is probably doing more than any other company here at the forefront with the gene therapy, in my opinion.
No, that's for sure.
And that's why it's so incredible, because it's just a little small company. It started from this one woman, this leader, inspiration. You can do this. Be part of this. I want people to know who are watching. You can do something. Figure out what your skill sets are. People, I'm making YouTube videos right now. I didn't know how to do this. You figure out how to do it. Be a lifelong learner like what you've done. And so this is my little inspirational moment right now. I'm dialed into.
That's very exciting. I mean, I identify a lot with what you just said. And you know what? One thing that impressed me a lot about Liz Parrish is that after, I went to this RAADFest and I started my journey to learn about all the longevity things and rejuvenation and the biology behind it and all that. There are interventions that people spread out that as good for your longevity, and they are good, but they're not gonna change our lives for many years. I mean, I'm talking about, let's say, do exercise. Okay, that's fine. We need to do exercise, and that definitely helps to be healthy. But okay, take some drugs like, I don't know, metformin or dasatinib, quercetin.
NAD plus, all the other
NAD plus precursors, all that stuff. I mean, that's good, perfect, but that won't get us to live, 150 or 2,000 years. There's no way.
Right.
So that, but that can help us to get into the what we call longevity escape velocity.
Which is what Dr. Aubrey de Grey, he created that term, and I believe it was 2003 when he was at the Methuselah Foundation. And please describe what that means.
Well, basically that with the current pace of advancement in science and technology, and the expected increase in that, because this is growing exponentially, basically, because many different technologies are converging. We're talking about nanotechnology converging with new ways to look at DNA and to deliver genes. These whole things are converging. So science and technology, for every year we stay alive, science and technology is doing progress to keep us alive for more than 1 year.
Yeah, it could even just be 1.00001. Technically, as soon as we've advancing humans' health span and lifespan more than 1 year, in a year's time, we've reached escape. We've reached the.
In practice, in my view, because that's the definition, but in my view, it will happen in steps. Some jumps. It's like we're in a phase now where science and technology is discovering great things. Every time we know more about DNA, how proteins are made, how we can deliver genes into our nucleus in the cells and things like that. But I don't see, that's the definition, but I don't see longevity escape velocity as something that is happening progressively. But the point is that you're alive, and then 5 years from now, there's come up a major breakthrough.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there, because I'm sitting down with you right now. You're the director of global outreach at BioViva.
Yes.
There is a chance, we don't know, nobody knows. Liz Parrish says there's a chance that we've already done it and we don't know it. Exactly. And there's a chance that it's in Liz Parrish it is in Liz Parrish. But there's a chance as patient zero that we've already reached escape longevity velocity.
That's also true.
And only time will tell. But it's so important that she already did it 4 years ago.
But that was a breakthrough.
It's a huge breakthrough. And it's a breakthrough that most people still do not know about, which is why you need to see this information and listen to this man right here.
Yeah. So that's the point. Liz Parrish is not achieving longevity escape velocity because every single day she eats vegetarian and she gets some drugs, like non-drugs,
Those are all healthy things that can help her,
things.
right? But it's not going to get you to live 2,000 years.
Exactly. But then she did something that was a breakthrough, and she may well be already in longevity escape velocity. Actually, I do believe that.
So, and I do as well. So before we move away from longevity escape velocity, a big thing that I think is miscommunicated with that terminology a lot is that people think that they can just sit on the sidelines and not do anything, not be active, not take control of their own health, their own body, and the information that they're learning and putting in their brain. And so hopefully what the audience is realizing is that this may have already happened. And so this is exciting, and people should get involved and start paying closer attention and getting involved with this, right?
Well, and you know what? I didn't finish the whole description about BioViva.
Please continue, yes.
There is something interesting that is related to what you just said, because I just talked so far about the therapeutic part of BioViva, but I just said that we have 3 major units in BioViva. The second one is research and development.
Right.
So we have an agreement with Rutgers University, which is located in New Jersey, and it's a well-known university in the field of biology and biology sciences, and we are working with them in.
And just to be clear, your accent on that, it's Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Yeah, just to be clear. I want, and no disrespect, I just want to make sure people understand, it sounded a little like Rogers for native English speakers. So it's Rutgers, it's a very prestigious and well-known university in New Jersey.
Yes.
Rutgers, and we'll have a link in the description below. But I apologize, please continue.
I'm sure that many people don't know this, but we are working with Rutgers.
Rutgers. It's
Rutgers.
It's
Okay,
a weird
Rutgers.
name,
I got
kind
it.
of to
Rutgers.
pronounce.
Right. And to develop let's say, an anti-aging vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what it means is that we want to find a way to deliver not just one or two genes, but several genes in just one treatment.
Perfect.
And that may well be the aging vaccine in the next few years.
And so there's
Because Liz Parrish went through this dual gene therapy,
right.
but after 3 years, she's doing pretty well in all her biomarkers. I'll talk a little bit about it.
Keep watching. That's important
Yes, keep
information
watching.
you don't want to miss.
Yeah, but then she also wants to, for example, to get into the klotho gene stuff.
Right.
And what we are working with Rutgers University is to create a delivery system where we can put not just 1, 2, but 3, 4, or 5 genes together.
And who knows, maybe 10 years from now, it might be 30 genes, you know? Who knows where this science is leading to, but you
Exactly.
guys are leading the way at BioViva,
Yeah.
right?
And then there is a third unit. We got then the research and development, the therapeutics, and then we have the bioinformatics, which is the one I wanted to highlight when you were talking about, the fact that as we collect information from not only the people that we are treating in our unit of therapeutics, but also people, for example, here in RAADFest, we were collecting, handing out a brochure
Yes.
that people could subscribe to it and give their information of their health. If they have taken any DNA test, they put information, and then we're putting all that together in a common database.
So it's taking, to be clear, if you've done 23andMe, if you've had your telomeres measured and things like that, you give that information all to BioViva. They use algorithms, latest machine learning. They crunch all that data and they tell you more information about yourself.
That exactly.
And so what I wanted to announce is that I've been waiting. I'm going to do this.
You've done a great job describing what we are doing in the bioinformatics side of our company. So
well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay the money and I'm going to sign up and I'm going to show everybody on my YouTube channel as we go through it.
Oh, that's great.
And we're going to make it easier so people can see, how it works and the benefits of doing it.
That's exactly. And as we continue treating patients, we are gathering, so valuable information.
Right.
Because we're doing really gene therapy.
Yes.
Some people, by the way, have taken the dual gene therapy, same as Liz Parrish. Some others, they go only for the follistatin gene therapy. Some others only for the inducer of telomerase.
So hold on, this is really big news.
Yes.
Can you repeat that? So my understanding was, Liz Parrish did the telomerase gene therapy, and there were maybe 6 others that have done the myostatin inhibitor, the follistatin gene therapy. And then in June, I believe, June of this year, 2019, the patient with the Alzheimer's did the telomerase gene therapy. Are you saying there's now more people who have done the telomerase gene therapy and the myostatin inhibitor gene therapy?
Yes.
I did not know that. So that is breaking news, right?
Well, I cannot tell you at this same day how many of them have gone through.
But you can share that.
This is an ongoing process.
Right.
We're doing it in Monterrey, Mexico. Basically, this is our major facility for doing this is located there.
And that's about an hour south of the U.S. border, right?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but yes.
Yeah. Don't quote us. We're going off memory here.
No, you can find all that information in Integrated Health System website. As I said, it's integrated-health-systems.com.
And there'll be a link in the description below.
Great. So yes, this is key. I mean, to gather all this information, to see how patients evolve, and this is also a long journey that it's ahead of us.
Right.
Because we need to follow these patients, for many, many years.
Right.
And we are more than happy to do so, more than interested to do so, and that will give us, an edge in to, let's say, if it's needed to do things, make a little bit changes, or particularly working in the delivery method of genes, that's a key point. And we really want to know how the patients are evolving, in what speed they're evolving, because not everyone is the same.
Right. Personalized medicine is the future.
Of course.
And this is the forefront of personalized medicine, what you guys are doing.
Absolutely, yes. So
it's very exciting. It's very exciting information. Information is power. The audience just learned some new information here from you, and you can use that information to empower yourself. But just because you have information doesn't mean that it can improve your life necessarily. A lot of times you have to take action. So I want to encourage the audience to take action. Go to bioviva.com, sign up for the service that Andres just mentioned. Take control, learn more about your own data and your biology so that you can know the personalized medications that you need to use to improve your health in your life, right?
Yeah, but one last thing that I would like to say is exactly what's my role as Director of Global Outreach in BioViva. My role is to support the company in identifying potential qualified partners, investors, vendors, and employees. Because we know we are going to grow significantly, and we need to be prepared for that growth. So again, to support the company in identifying potential qualified vendors, partners, employees, and make possible to go through this path in a solid way, in a fashionable way, in a precise way. So that's the main thing. The other thing is that I'm helping to refer patients to our unit of therapeutics. And last but not least, to spread out the word of BioViva, what we are doing, when we come up with some milestones, where you can get the treatments, if we open new facilities and things like that. So that's my main role as Director of Global Outreach.
That's really exciting, and I know you're going to do a great job. And
thank you. Yeah.
It's just such an incredible time right now. One of the most interesting thing about me doing these videos is I think about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. We go back and watch these videos and think about this unique time where still most of the people on the planet don't understand this information. They don't know about it.
That's why we're doing this.
Right.
We need to spread the word. We
right.
need to make people more aware of what's going on in this
right.
field.
But my point is, we're going to look back on this and we'll be like, man, we were trying so hard to explain this to people, and there will be a breakthrough moment. And BioViva is on the forefront, and you guys are the ones breaking through, and it's so exciting.
One thing that I want to highlight is I said that my real breakthrough in what I was doing and what I'm doing now happened during RAADFest 2017.
Right, in August.
So I would like to invite your audience, if they haven't come yet to RAADFest, to do it next year. And
oh, look at that!
Yeah,
get a T-shirt if you come next year as well
too.
Yeah,
you're gonna be here next year. I'll wait for you all, and you see our stand, BioViva stand, and we'll keep you informed of all the new developments in our company and the new things we're doing and plan to do in the future. So come here.
That's very exciting. Well, one more thing I wanted to ask, because I wasn't aware of this before we sign off. Liz Parrish is a lot of her biomarkers. I think she's posted those. Where's the easiest place? Because people have asked me, and I've seen them, but where's the easiest place to just see any public information about like her telomere report and some of her other information?
Well, we're actually sending out now, since a few months ago, a newsletter where we inform about it.
And that's via email, right? You sign up via email?
Yes. You sign up in our website, in BioViva Sciences website.
I'm signed up, yeah.
And then you receive a newsletter where we keep informed our people about all the things. But well, you can visit my website as well. No,
No, we will. Please, we'll have your website in the description below.
Basically, and it's good that you came up with that thing that we haven't talked yet. Basically, Liz Parrish biomarkers, they have improved a lot in terms of, for example, the C-reactive protein.
Can we go with numbers before we jump on to the next one? Do you recall? And it's okay if you don't recall exactly.
I don't recall exactly.
That's fine.
Yes, because this is like how it was, at the beginning of her treatment,
Right.
Before her treatment, at the beginning, and then 1 year after, and 2 years after, and I don't remember now. But
that's okay.
For example, what I do know is that the latest measure of her telomeres shows that they are now like 30 years younger than they were before she took the gene therapy.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So just so the audience knows, I personally had my telomeres measured when I was 28 years old in 2013 by Life Length, because Dr. Bill Andrews, told me to use them, and I did a lot of research, and I think they're the best company for telomere measurement personally. And I have researched telomeres for many years and telomere measuring. You've never seen somebody reverse, I have never seen somebody reverse telomere measurement 30 years. I mean, there's some people who might reverse it 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 15 with some innovative things they're doing. But telomere measurement isn't a perfect science. There's a standard mean of error in there, but it's not 30 years. I mean, what she's done is incredible.
Brent, but I tell you, to really get these results, you need to go through gene therapy.
Exactly correct,
There's no way to
That's
get
why
it.
she's the only one who's ever done anything like this.
Well,
yeah.
Now there are a couple more, but they're
Correct,
just starting now. But you will never get these results by doing all the other things that are being promoted to enlarge your telomeres.
Right.
They are good. I'm not saying that you should disregard
do those
them.
other things too while you do the gene therapy.
Because the other thing is that gene therapy is expensive yet. Not as expensive of school.
Before we sign off, we need to talk about the economics as well too, because that's important. So let's stick with before we go to the economics and the economies of scale and how we're going to scale out gene therapy. Let's keep talking about the biomarkers that she's improved.
Well, the other one is related to her muscle.
Her muscle mass.
Muscle mass, yes. There are even images of.
Yes.
And this
as scientific as it gets. She had this all done before and after.
And it's amazing. No fat, much more better tissue, muscle tissues.
Her brown adipose fat has gone up, and her white adipose fat has gone down.
Exactly.
And brown adipose fat, for those that don't know, is very good fat. This wasn't even known until a few years ago that this existed. The brown adipose fat actually helps burn all the other white adipose fat. It gives you more energy. It's very good for health and vitality. And so that went up after her gene therapy, and the white adipose fat went down. And one anecdotal thing that Liz likes to share is that she used to do more weight training, exercising before the gene therapy in 2015.
And not anymore.
But because she is now running this company and so busy, she hasn't had time, and her muscle mass has still gone up. Now that's anecdotal, you have to trust her there, but it's still valuable information,
Sure. And the other thing is that I remember in 2017 when I first met her, I knew because I had done my homework, and before I went to RAADFest, I was reading things about this whole Liz Parrish history and all that. And then I asked her, Liz, okay, your biomarkers have improved, but will you keep your face as it is now? What about wrinkles and things like that? And Liz Parrish told me, Andrés, skin is the largest organ in human bodies.
Yes.
So if my skin gets again with wrinkles and all that, then things are not going well.
We have to say that it's not working as hoped and as expected.
Not working as hoped. And that was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I saw Liz Parrish now. It's amazing.
I had, the funny thing is about RAADFest, I've had so many conversations with folks just like this where the camera wasn't recording. And so that's why I've just tried to set up the camera, because I chatted with Liz many times the last few days, and I wish I would have just got out the camera, because I was up close with her like this, and she's a beautiful woman already, but this isn't about aesthetics. This isn't about any of that stuff. She is a scientific experiment walking around.
Yeah.
And so everybody's kind of getting up close and looking at her. And there's a difference between makeup and plastic surgery and that. She looks very young and very healthy, especially for her age of 48 years old, almost 49.
49.
Yeah, so it's really incredible what she's done, and we're so appreciative of what she's done and what BioViva is building, and that the team at BioViva is growing and bringing on such incredible people like yourself.
Thank you.
We need to, before we sign off, we need to talk about the economies of scale and the economics of gene therapy, because it's an important topic.
That's a very important topic, because you know what, Liz Parrish, on top of being, patient zero, of knowing more biology than many PhD biologists,
Right.
but I shouldn't say this, but she knows a lot. I mean, it's amazing.
No, I think you should. We need to talk about what's true, right? And just because you have a PhD from 5 years ago, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it doesn't mean that somebody can't go on the internet and read things and watch videos and network with other intelligent people and leapfrog and learn more information. You know, my last job at LinkedIn that I left was in e-learning. And I sold corporate e-learning to C-level executives. And it's all about behavior change, and it's all about the empowering message that I was talking about before. I'm not telling people not to go the traditional route and get PhDs and get accredited degrees. I am not saying that. That is still very important. But what I am saying is that just because somebody does not have that degree does not mean that necessarily they don't know what they're talking about.
No, of course.
Because Liz is highly intelligent.
My last degree was, mechanical engineer. That was in 1984.
Right, yeah.
And then the MBA, I did it in 1990 and 1991.
Right.
So that was my last degree. And all the other things I've learned, I have done them on myself, and
Right.
attending courses and attending congresses and attending, so.
The world of learning is changing, the ways you can learn. These things, if those things were available back in 1984 and 1992, things on the internet and all the blogs and YouTube videos, you'd be doing them back then, I'm sure, So you got to take advantage of all the incredible ways to learn nowadays, right?
Okay. Well, so one thing I wanted to say is that Liz, on top of being that, a biologist without a major career in that, although she studied biology, by the way, but then she's a humanitarian person.
Yes.
So she really would like, to change the world.
Right.
And make these horrible illnesses related to age, to intervene on that, and particularly again with Alzheimer's disease, we have a special chapter dedicated to Alzheimer's. So we are now inviting people to participate in a trial, small trial, where we will cover the costs to treat people with our gene therapies, and we are convinced that they will improve a lot in their, Alzheimer senses, or Alzheimer's, I don't know how to say in English well, but...
Well, no, you said that perfectly, but just to be clear, I want to make this is huge. What Andres is saying here is that if you or somebody a friend, a family member, a loved one has Alzheimer's, BioViva is offering a gene therapy for free. You'll have to get in touch with Andres, that's what he's here for, and this could potentially, reverse the Alzheimer's, potentially, and have other health benefits as well.
Yeah, and of course, it's not for everyone.
Right.
We received the let's say the application for that, and then that goes through a process of it's being evaluated by doctors,
right,
to see whether or not the condition of the candidate really applies for this treatment that we are targeting.
Right.
So, but yes, feel free to send your data, but it's not necessarily that you will, be have the
There's no guarantee, as I think what you're trying to say.
Yes,
but please if you know somebody, or if you yourself has Alzheimer's and you want to learn more, please get in touch with Andrés, get in touch with BioViva, and you could potentially, partner with them to have this gene therapy and potentially, improve. Even if your doctor will not know about this most likely. That's the key, Doctors are not keeping up with the research. Almost nobody can. There's so much going on. So gene therapy is a new thing, and just believe Andrés here, what he's saying, it is true, and reach out to him if you know somebody who has Alzheimer's who wants to improve that.
Sure. And as you said, my links to my all social media things are, down in the description of this video.
And so before we sign off, the economies of scale and the economics, we got to touch upon that.
Well, that's also related to the humanitarian part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dual gene therapy that Liz Parrish went through in 2015, that cost $1.5 million.
US dollars.
US dollars.
Right.
$1.5 million US dollars. Well, that was the first one in human.
Are you at liberty to share how she paid for that? Like, what were the economics that occurred?
Well, basically, the BioViva was a startup as any other, and she collected money from
She got investors, right?
Exactly, investors and things like that. So, I think David Kekich, for example, who is part of the company, of course,
right,
contributed with that, and some others. Even Liz Parrish herself also put some money, but yes,
right.
That was part of the startup.
A lot of hard work just to get to that point.
Yeah,
Unbelievable
sure.
amount of hard work to get to that point.
Yeah. So then what we are striving for is to provide these therapies, or to allow for these therapies to reduce their prices. As we treat more patients, the whole thing around these new technologies the prices will go down.
Right.
So that thing that at that time cost $1.5 million, I cannot say the exactly price now, because it depends also on your weight, for example. It's not,
right.
It's not the same to treat a person who weighs...
Your weight, just
your
to
weight.
Be clear, your actual weight, yeah.
Okay. Yes, because it's not the same to treat someone who, a 50 kilogram person.
Right.
With 100 kilogram person, because you need to deliver a lot more genes.
Twice as much,
Twice as much. So I cannot say exact prices, but our gene therapies are starting now in around $55,000 for a low dose gene therapy.
The telomerase or any of it? Yeah.
Basically,
telomerase or the myostatin inhibitor or the klothos, they'd all be minimum starting at about 55.
About 55.
55,000 USD.
And the whole thing, again, it depends. I don't want to say a number here.
No, you've been very clear.
But
I think people understand. Yeah.
And of course, what we want is that 3 years from now, we can get this thing even much lower cost.
And I really see three ways. So obviously the most direct way is just getting customers in to bring in money. That brings in revenue, and then you can do more R&D and bring the cost down. There's also investors. Investors can bring in money. It's another way for BioViva. And the third way is government. Now that might be farther off and more, unrealistic, but it's possible, that if governments get educated enough and if people, citizens around the world get educated enough, they can demand of their governments, to support gene therapy and companies like BioViva. Again,
this will come,
right,
for sure.
Right. So I just want to let people know those are the three ways.
There is this new law of the right to try, which is a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. I mean, because this is just for last resort type of therapy. But what we are doing is also providing these therapies to healthy people.
Do you know if España or any other countries also have similar laws as right to try in the U.S.? Are you aware?
Well, what I know is that, for example, in Spain, you cannot practice gene therapy. You cannot do it yet. Gene therapies to healthy people.
And that's you brought up a really good point there. You can't do it in the U.S. either for the telomerase. There are gene therapies that are FDA approved under very strict guidelines.
Yeah.
But do you know
muscular dystrophy, for example, is one that they are treating with gene therapy. There are actually many ongoing clinical trials.
But none of them are allowed through the FDA approved to be treating aging, like telomerase, and so that's why So for those who don't know, that's why Liz Parrish had to go to Bogotá, Colombia, the country of Colombia. So do you know of any other countries other than Colombia and it looks like Mexico with Monterrey?
It's Mexico.
Mexico.
We're doing it in Mexico now.
So it's Mexico, Colombia. Are there any other countries where you could potentially?
I prefer not to.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure. At this
Please
point.
keep information private that needs to be private.
It's not that much. It's private. It's just that I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to mislead your audience in this.
Definitely. Okay. Perfect. Well, that's been very helpful as well too. So I think we covered the economies of scale and the economics of it, pretty well, and a lot of those questions that people didn't know. As far as all of Liz Parrish's biomarkers, would love to get just a link for that we can show people. That would be really. That's what a lot of people have been asking me about.
I'll send you it, and you will put in the.
It will be in the description below. That is perfect.
That's for sure.
That's something even around the office, even around RAADFest these last few days, people have been asking me. I said, well, I've seen it all, but it's kind of been here and there on social media and stuff. And
no. You'll get the links with all the information, and actually. Let's put the link also for people to join our newsletter.
Yes, that link will be in there as well too. Sign up for the BioViva newsletter so you can keep up with what they're doing and share it on your social media with other people so they can join. So, Andres, I want to give an opportunity to you to share, final thoughts. It could be about you, about BioViva. It could be about RAADFest, what you've experienced here the last few days. It could be about all the above, but.
Well, I would say, I wasn't expecting that, but I will say that as an engineer, what I like of what is going on now is that this thing about intervening in aging is not science fiction anymore. What I have noticed is that, very studied and reputable scientists,
like Dr. George Church, who's on the board of directors at BioViva. Board of advisors, thank you, I misspoke. Yeah. Very, very well-respected doctor for many, many years. So I apologize.
Oh, that's fine, don't worry. David Sinclair, also from Harvard.
Right.
By the way, there is another path to get into rejuvenation that scientists are working. It's not our main core business now, or core therapeutic treatment, but it's also something that made me, as an engineer, to believe that we are in the right path.
Because this is bioengineering, is what this is.
I'm talking about partial program rejuvenation.
Program rejuvenation, reprogramming cells.
Partially reprogramming cells.
Okay. Partially reprogramming cells.
Yes. So, again, as an engineer, what I noticed is that there's a hard science behind this. Scientists, not just Liz Parrish, which she's patient zero. She's the human that has done more on her body to really get there. But in terms of scientists, María Blasco, Juan Carlos Ispizu, these are scientists that really saying these
Nobel
things.
Prize award-winning scientist,
yes,
María Blasco.
And she's a potential Nobel Prize.
Oh, I apologize.
Yes. But the thing is that they are so reputable scientists that they won't say this if they were not sure of what they are saying. Also in influencers, like let's say Bill Gates, he's saying that he will cure cancer in the next 10 years. He said that 3 years ago, so he has 7 years left.
You got 7 years left, Bill.
7 years left,
Get
Bill.
to it.
But you will never imagine people like Bill Gates with such a high reputation to say this type of things if it's not well advised by scientists that are very convinced that they will get there.
Correct.
So there is a lot of hard science, and that's, as an engineer, is what I like the most about this. And then in BioViva, we're taking that hard science and converting it into therapeutics. So we are like the pioneering company in practicing what science is telling us is possible.
So if you're watching this and you think, oh man, maybe there's another company out here doing this and I'll check out them, there's not. BioViva is it. So check out BioViva. We really appreciate you all watching. We really appreciate you taking some time to sit down with me. It's been incredible.
For me, it has been a great pleasure. Again, I'm a follower of you.
Thank you.
So it's been great.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm just doing what I believe.
And I hope the audience find this conversation, interesting and valuable. And I hope you visit my link, the links below here. and it was great.
All right.
So-
We'll see you next time.
Sure.
One mind, one love, one heart, one soul. One life, one chance, one head.
Let's dance inside and let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sand pit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad men.
One chance,
Can you imagine when the race is run? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman. Really want to live forever. Forever young.
one heart,
Some are like water, some are like the heat. Some are a melody and some are the beat. Sooner or later they will all be gone. Why don't we stay young? It's so hard to get old without a cause. I don't wanna perish like a fading horse. It's like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. So many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams swinging out of the blue. We let them come true. Forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever?
one life,
Forever
one love,
and ever.
one soul.
Untitled.